Hello, my Bill 1000 Nation. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully, everyone's having a great day. If not, I hope it gets better from here. We are back with another That chapter. This one is titled Son Discovers His Mom's Disturbing Secret. Sex Dungeon. That would be awful. Come home from Thanksgiving. Be like, hey, baby, why don't you run downstairs and get Mom another thing of milk out of the garage? It's like, okay. Run into shit that just make you blush for the rest of your life. Nah. Oh, son discovers mom's disturbing secret. Okay. Well, I'm excited for today's story. If you guys are excited as I am, go ahead, turn them lights down low, put on something comfy, cup with something special. Let's get concerned on what her secret is. I'm still saying sex dungeon.
Hey you, and welcome. My name is Mike, and in this old video, we are going to look at a story that takes us all the way down to Georgia, and it is bizarre as heck. When a young mother one day went shopping to a Target. Well, there'd be more Targets that day than just the store. The Snellville police were soon called to that Target, and there was something smelling weird in Snellville when witnesses would describe a man calmly fleeing the scene, not a bother on him, in front of plenty of onlookers. Why would they be so calm? As always, there's more to this than meets the eye. Now let's meet the story. Let's give it a go.
Oh, I'm so excited. I have a feeling it's going to be really fucked up, but I'm very excited.
The city of Snellville, right, is our setting for today, and as we go through Mike's patented geography lesson, I gotta tell you, Snellville, you got a serious problem. Just change your name. It's not good. It's named after some guy from London named Thomas Snell, but I mean, come on now. It's located about 40 minutes northeast of Atlanta. About 20,000 people live there, call Snellville home. And probably the most interesting thing I could find that happened there, other than this case of course, was a former mayor didn't pay his taxes and used mayoral campaign funds to pay for porn sites. Yeah, I know, right? What an idiot. Who pays for porn these days?
Right.
The town motto is Snellville, where everybody is proud to be somebody. That kind of... Oh, okay, you know what? Let's just move on. Let's move past that. I can't anymore with you. Let's move on to 2009. April 26th of that year.
Poor Mike. They're just setting him
That
up
early
to be
evening,
mean, ain't
it
they?
was a beautiful spring day, about 80 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. There was a light breeze, but it was dry. And the parking lot of the Target, which lies just north of downtown, it was busy.
Target. It's Target. I mean, come on now. Target.
See, it was a Sunday, and people were out and about, many doing their shopping for the week that lay ahead. Just about 6 p.m, an SUV pulled into that old parking lot. Inside was a woman, alone but not for long. She was driving to the parking lot, as that was a pre-arranged site to pick up her son, who was about 1.5 years old. See, the woman Heather, she was going through a divorce at the time. The arrangement Heather shared with her soon-to-be ex-husband. You know, Heather, the mother, she was the primary custodian.
Target, Walmart, Kmart. They are great places to for divorced parents to meet to switch out kids. Man, you go to Walmart on a Friday and a Sunday, the back parking lot is full of people just being like, all right, love you, bud. All right, have a good one, sis. Just whoosh, kids gone. Oh, fuck.
But
I imagine it's because of, like, they have a shit ton of cameras in their parking lot, right? I mean, that would be the consensus on it. Like, if, something stupid does happen, because not everyone has a great divorce just because there's kids involved, People should make it easier on the kids, but emotions get in the way. I mean, shit happens. But, if that's the case, like, is that Why? Like, because there's cameras and everything all over the place?
The boy's dad, he would get the little guy out weekends, and now hence as a Sunday evening she was going to pick him up. She was there to collect, and they always did the handover in public places, and the handover was always like real quick. No kind of like small talk, you know, some weather, none of that. None of that. This was no bueno. As I said, this was a very public place. This was on a little strip, so there was not only the Target, but plenty of other stores. And on a nice spring Sunday evening, folk were out and about. Which is what makes what happened all the more bizarre when a single shot rang out. Soon there would be myriad calls to the police reporting this, reporting what they had seen, because a lot of people had seen.
There at the Target on 124. They say someone just got shot. It's a Cadillac Escalade. You can't miss it. She's laying at the back of the car, most of it. You saw this woman lying on the ground.
Where in her body did she get shot?
There's like a wooded area, and he walked back there.
Heather lay on the ground of the parking lot covered in blood.
What?
While the person that had done this to her was calmly exiting the parking lot.
What?
Not running, not trying to hide, just strutting out like they owned the place. And by the time the authorities arrived, Heather had breathed her last, lying on that cold asphalt. The killer had gone. You want to know what was even more frightening? Heather's 19-month-old son was in the back of her car. She had gone, met her ex, taken the baby, placed him in her car, and then been shot in the head and shot dead. Nothing was stolen, her money, purse remained behind, no shell casings were left behind, no nada. Snellville was a small town with only 10 murders going back. Not a dangerous place with gangs and shootings and yada yada yada. Police quickly identified the victim as 25-year-old Heather Strube, daughter of Buddy and Mary Allen. Heather was born April 1984, an Atlantan by birth. She had 2 younger brothers, Hunter and Henry, and was a pretty bright, happy-go-lucky gal. Did well at school, made lots of friends, and would meet her future husband, Stephen, at a youth group. High school sweethearts became husband and wife at a fairly young age. Heather was 20, Stephen 21, and the families got on well together. Shared values, hopes, and dreams. Heather became a florist, working at the flower store that her parents owned and ran, and she later opened up her own store, if you can believe that. Stephen worked construction.
Oh, yeah.
It was 3 years into their marriage that they had a son together, a son named Carson. It was a dream come true for the Strube family. Steve was busting his ass, at the construction site. Heather managing and running her own little flower shop as a florist, and she would have baby Carson in with her every day because she ran the store. She basically do what she wanted, and they even built a little playpen in her flower shop for the baba. Stephen's mom would help out a lot too, Joanna, and she would make deliveries for the florists, help out with her grandson, whatever.
We already know it ends fucked up. Like, he's already said that. What I'm intrigued in is how fucked up of a journey it's going to be until we get to that fucked up end. You know what I mean? I'm not kidding. Like, that's how that chapter, Coffee House Crimes, that's how they all fucking are anymore, man. It's like, all right, yeah, all right, yeah. What? All right, so.
Needed doing, she'd do. However, unfortunately, as we see all too often, the marriage went from good to not so much, with the stresses of, having a young baby, running your own business, money, everything. They don't make things easier, that's for sure. They did work on it, they went to marriage counseling, but it can only do so much, especially when one half of the marriage is already halfway out the door. Joanna Hayes, Stephen's mother, she was as helpful as a hole in the head. She was as helpful as a third nut. She would constantly tell Heather how to raise her own child, constantly nagging, constantly, even just taking the grandson off with her without telling anybody. Oh, off you go. Heather'd be like, what are you doing? Where are you going with my son? Don't worry about it. I mean, even Stephen Strube Sr., who was, Stephen Strube's dad, ex-husband of Joanna, he didn't have very nice things to say about Joanna at all. She was a nutbag. But things really came to a head Valentine's Day 2008. See, Joanna just happened to find a receipt. A receipt for some jewelry Stephen had bought. So Joanna gave the receipt to Heather, saying, hey, Stephen probably bought you some jewelry for Valentine's Day. If you don't like it, bring it back. Only problem was that Stephen hadn't bought Heather shit. Heather quickly assumed he was seeing somebody else, and she was correct about that. Divorce followed, one that didn't start pretty and just got more busted from there. Heather began seeing a new guy, Mike Vickers, and that was going well. She got primary custody of baby Carson, and at weekends she would hand him over to Stephen and Joanna too. This happened every weekend, until Heather was shot dead in the Target parking lot. Stephen handed the kid over and then left. Heather was still placing Carson in the back seat when a man approached Heather. Witnesses say they spoke, were rather shouted, and then a single gunshot rang out.
I saw him turn around and with a brisk walk head towards her car.
Then what happened?
He approached her while she was closing the back door, and she backed up facing the suspect still, closed the front door, walked around the front of the car, closed her driver door,
Okay.
and then he stood in front of the driver door.
So was he keeping her from getting in the car?
Yes,
So he was leaned up against the driver's door?
yes. But he wasn't a big guy.
Could you hear what he was saying?
No, I couldn't hear any of that.
What about body language? Based on their body language, what do you think was going on?
She seemed startled, taken aback, I think confused.
Right as I passed her and him, my window was down and she said, "Help."
I noticed his hair because it was poofy and it was really, really dark, and he had a mustache on and it looked really, really fake.
Okay.
And I made the comment to my parents saying, "Oh, look at that guy's mustache." Kind of being a joke, and my entire family turned and looked.
Witnesses who had been on site when Heather got shot all said, this guy, he approached her, seemed like he was making a beeline directly for her. He was a white guy. And then after the shooting, he started walking back towards the target, but it was like walking around behind the target, where there was a small car park located as well. Likely they had a vehicle there, as when the K9 unit began tracking the scent, it abruptly stopped at a parking area behind the target next to a motel.
So they put some thought. There was some thought. This was planned out. It was words. It was words. I forget the word I was going to say. But yeah, it happens that fast. Don't you judge me.
Now, Stephen was ruled out kind of fairly quickly, but the idea of him hiring somebody else to do this, that could not be ruled out at all. Hiring some lad from his construction site or something.
We see
Police
it all the
also had
time.
to speak with Heather's new man,
Especially on
Mike
this channel.
Vickers. He matched the build of the shooter, witnesses described.
Insurance dance.
They also said the shooter looked like he was wearing a wig and a fake mustache, and in walks a bald guy with no mustache.
Tell about yours and Heather's relationship.
It was awesome.
Okay.
It was great. She kept me together. We planned on buying a house.
Who can we talk to at work just to verify that you were there the whole day and all that?
Anybody that's working.
He was alibied out though. He was at work 20 minutes away. It seemed like it definitely had something to do with Stephen, right? The only person with a motive to want Heather dead. As I said, nothing was stolen. It seemed like Heather was like the target of whoever this guy was. And so, Stephen, right? Police went to his house. They want to speak with him, but Stephen was very evasive around the police. In fact, the first time the police showed up to his house, he lived with Joanna and Joanna's new husband. And basically, the new husband was the only person there. And he opened the door and was like, "Stephen's not here." Then a guy walks up to the house behind the police as if he's about to enter. The police turn around and were like, "Are you Stephen?" He said no and then walked away. He pretended to be Stephen's cousin. The police then caught up and were like, "You are Stephen, though." Yeah, he was kind of weird and evasive around the police.
Oh, shit.
But yeah, he seemed upset that she was killed and kind of yada yada yada. The police didn't get to speak with Joanna at the time, though, who also could be somebody with a motive. She was out for a drive at the time when they initially went there. Did Stephen hire somebody? Did somebody in his family want to hire somebody? And before I continue, let me just tell you all about this whole video's sponsor, and that, my friends,
Possibly.
is Audible. I am genuinely a huge fan of Audible. I can't stop listening to audiobooks.
I mean, because if you think about it, 9 times out of 10, like, we watched one where, like, didn't the family go to, like, a church? Like, an actual fucking church, and, like, shot the husband, the new old lady, and I think the kid was still inside the church with the CPS officer lady, I'd imagine, the social worker. I believe she was still in there. And when they came out, like, I forget exactly which two. It was either the son and the father, or the mother of the girl and the grandfather. All I know is whenever the dad and his new old lady came out, they shot the living shit out of him, bro. Like, I think she got first, and then he ran up to her, and then he got shot. Like, it was some craziness, man. So we see some shit. It could have been the family. It could have been the family. It might not have been, but it could have been.
Check out my link in the description. New members get to check out Audible for free. That is audible.com/thatchapter, or text that chapter to 500 for your free trial. Thank you so much to Audible for sponsoring That Chapter. And you know, That Chapter, it's like the chapter of an audiobook. So it kind of works out absolutely perfectly. Now, let's get back to it.
Kind of does. Congratulations.
CCTV footage from the parking lot showed the handover, but as it was a moving camera, it didn't capture the actual shooting. But it did show Steve leaving the area. But another camera did show the shooter walking to the parking lot, and then after the shooting away to behind the target near the motel. And then another witness came forward. Somebody, right, get this, who just so happened to be smoking an El Ciggy at the motel that was behind the target, near where the killer was going. And he said he saw some shady business behind the target. His name was Daryl, right? And he saw a white pickup parked there, engine running. Inside, he said, was a man, the exact same as the witnesses from the parking lot had described. Hair, mustache, both of which though looked fake. And Daryl said he could see this guy inside a white pickup, Ford F-150, watching the parking lot out the front of the target with the binoculars, keeping an eye out, you know, covert like. He even said he'd seen that white Ford F-150 there multiple times in the days leading up to the shooting. That they had been there like scouting out, you know, military, covert, tactically scouting out the place. And then he'd seen it a couple of hours before the actual shooting, and then he'd seen it after the shooting, what we can assume is after the shooting based on the time he saw that truck there. And the person who was inside that Ford F-150, as soon as they saw Daryl eyeballing them, they hauled ass out of there. Daryl was able to tell the police a few specifics about this particular white Ford F-150 because he was a car guy, knew all about cars, and he noticed that car, that Ford F-150, had a black trim around it, which was like a custom job. They don't come like that out of the shop. Now that made the police stop in their tracks for a second. Well, for one reason, it's like, okay, we got something identifiable about the car. And two is that they had heard of somebody who also drove a white Ford F-150. They knew Joanna Hayes drove a car like that, so they said to Daryl, "Want to take a ride?" They drove over to the house, and yep, Daryl said, "That's the car parked outside. That's the car I saw behind the target." A sketch was done of the shooter, and it seemed clear that the shooter was not a man in a wig. It was a woman in a wig. In fact, no shit, Sherlock, it looked like it could be Joanna Hayes.
What?
The dog-faced woman, the mother-in-law from the depths of hell. The thing is, though, Joanna didn't want to speak with the police. Shucks. She did give them an alibi, though. She said she had left her house at about 5 p.m. She was going to go see her folks, and she had stopped off on the way to pick up some food. So she was like, you know, hey, check the time I got the food at, therefore I couldn't have done the shooting. However, when the police did speak with her, she was like, you know, kind of giving them this little spiel about blah, 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 blah. She was damn sure to say, Heather, man, she sucked. I mean, she really, really sucked.
Why?
She said, quote, Heather was not a good parent, had inherited poor parenting skills from her own mother, and was not a good parent morally, and wasn't good enough to raise her grandchild. It's great she's gone, but I didn't do it, I swear. So Joanna wouldn't come in, and there wasn't enough to arrest her.
What the fuck?
Yet. So the police then said to themselves, Hell yeah, little Stevie, come here for a sec, you know. I want to just have a you know, a few words with you, maybe just shoot the shit. It's just those fellas.
I want to go back over everything you told me the other day.
Oh, and before I forget, you know, would you kindly want to just have a go at some footage from the parking lot that day? Maybe it'll jog your memory. You know, from the day your ex-wife was shot to death mere feet from your son. The Egypt was caught on camera. Who's that?
You're familiar with barbershop? Yeah. that looks like her, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Well,
Kenny? Huh?
that's right. That's your mom.
You got Kenny.
That's your mom, isn't it?
Oh, you said she hadn't told me nothing. She didn't tell me she got picked up.
That's her, isn't it? You saw it. You know your own mom.
It could be like that. Kenny.
No, you know.
Oh, crap. The child was in the car. Less than 5 feet away.
And that's your mom walking away.
Well,
She's trying to take care of you.
that's why you gotta take care of me.
And then, well,
No.
shitty.
Oh my god. That could be removed.
No. She's not possible. Stupid. I swear to God, I do not know. I am freaking out right now.
Having a look at that picture, he says, fuck my life. I'm paraphrasing.
Right.
It's her instinct.
Oh my god.
So
That's your
then
mom.
did you just say yes?
Oh god. Oh my god. Screwed up my son's life's gonna be. His mom's dead. And what, dad has a mom who killed her?
They then got Stephen to call Joanna, his mother, and see if him confronting her about what he had a go at would shake the tree a little.
Oh, we get to hear the phone
Mom.
call?
Hey. I just left the police station. And they showed me the videotape. It looks like you.
It looks like me?
Bob, it looks like you. It looks just like you. Walks like you. Why'd you do it?
I didn't, Steven.
Bob. Did you do it? Seriously, do not lie to me.
Steven, no, I did not.
She's a liar.
Joanna denied everything.
You
It was
hear
then
her
the police
voice.
took her in. Joanna denied being involved in her son's marriage, a little tinker.
Jolene.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Harold Thomas.
I don't ask. I don't, like I said, I stay out of it as much as I possibly
Completely
can.
non-committal.
Like I said, it's what the two of them do is none of my business.
She denied knowing when and where the custody exchange took place.
You do
For
the
some reason, I'm not
exchange
believing that.
at Target,
Seems like
6 o'clock
she
every
likes to
week.
make everyone's
sir.
business her
You do
business.
that.
No.
She was, however, happy to talk shit about Heather.
I mean, I'm not gonna bash her.
Okay.
I'm not gonna do it.
Remember when I said I wouldn't talk shit? Okay, well, forget that. Because she was a degenerate gambler.
$7,000, $8,000 entry fees for online gambling.
Oh
Some
my
jewelry
God.
disappeared that Stephen looked for quite earnestly.
Do you ever know of a time when Heather wasn't there for the baby?
The
Quite a
poor
few.
girl's dead. Why are we
I don't know
besmirching
why
her,
that's married.
man? I
Yes.
don't like that.
But what footage? Goodbye!
Oh, my son says it's me. I just don't believe it.
You don't think he said that?
No.
Is he lying?
I don't know. Maybe we need to go get his glasses.
Since you said you hadn't seen this, this is gonna be the video clip. This is an enhanced
Is
version.
this the one I showed on the news too?
I believe it is.
Okay.
This is a artist rendering from our witnesses.
And
Well, that
that's
don't look
supposed
nothing
to
like
be
me.
I wish my nose was that narrow.
It's basically the same facial features, same jawline, the same chin, same nose.
I just don't see it.
We know you're not being honest with us about everything. Let me tell you, now's the time. Now is the time.
I don't think so.
You know how hard it is to clean blood out of a carpet in a vehicle?
I have no blood in a carpet.
But it's hard to do that.
I have no reason to have to clean blood out of a carpet in a vehicle. I would be the least person to have to gain anything by
I
it.
have Carson every day.
No, I wouldn't. Why would I have Carson every day?
It's not looking good.
Well, like I said, when you get your little blood and whatever you're going to find in the truck, let me know. Till then.
Okay.
Joanna and her attitude walked out, and the police kept looking.
Man, that was kind of boss,
kept looking
though.
at her truck.
That bitch dropped the mic and walked away on them motherfuckers, didn't she? Son of a bitch. I mean, I don't like her. She's a murderer. We can tell. Look at her face. She's shady as shit. But I mean, mad respect. I'm dropping that mic and walking away, bro. Once you find that little blood splatter or whatever the fucks it is you be looking for, you can holler at me. Until then, I'm out. And just stood up, dropped the mic, and walked away. Man.
Inside, spotless. You could eat off of it. Except one single strand of fibre, which the lab would tell the police likely came from a blonde wig. The receipt she had, you could easily purchase that with time to do the killing.
I've already answered questions for you people many times. Not gonna answer anymore.
This is your chance to give me your side of the story. I want to hear it. Okay? And your grandson doesn't want, you want him to grow up and find out that his grandmother was a cold-blooded killer.
I didn't do it. I've told you the truth.
This right here, Joanna. This right here. Look at this. You want to talk to me about this? You want to talk to me about this? Joanna, look at what you did to her. You shot her in the head in front of her own son. Look at the picture. Don't look at me. Look at the picture.
To that.
Okay, that's fine. You look at what you did. Yeah, you did. And now this is your opportunity. So you want an attorney? That's fine.
Yep, as soon as he started that bullshit, you asked for attorney. Like, I'm not on her
It was
side.
a few weeks of building up a...
I mean, I'm not. She killed this poor baby's mama right in front of the baby. I'm not on her side at all. But I would have asked for a lawyer too as soon as he started throwing them pictures, man. Look, if you really didn't do it, like, I mean, we all know for a fact she probably did. But if you really didn't kill that person, you don't want to sit there and look at someone being murdered. Nobody just wants to be stuck in a police department looking at, like, dead people and shit. And if they do, they're fucked up. They're a fucked up individual.
largely circumstantial case that after that, Joanna was finally arrested and charged with murder. Joanna was a no-gal. She would never admit to, no, Jesus, lads, couldn't be. I should call you guys the crack police because you're out of your mind by trying to think that I did it. Never. But see, it wasn't just Stephen who would go on to finger his own mother. Probably could have worded that better. No, another witness would identify Joanna from a police lineup as the person wearing the wig and mustache. However, the certainty level was between 0 and 25%. Another eyewitness would say, after Joanna's arrest, that when she saw Joanna on the news, it was definitely her she saw that day. 1 year before the shooting, on Valentine's Day 2008, the same time Heather found out Stephen was cheating, Joanna was delivering flowers with a co-worker, and they were just shooting the shit, as you do.
Yeah.
And Heather just like, they were talking about the weather or whatever, and then Heather was like, here, guess what? I know how to kill somebody and get away with it. Not that it has anything to do with anything, but I just want to make sure you know I know. Suck on that. Joanna went on to say that an alibi could be established if a credit card was used at a certain time in a certain place, or you could get a friend or a family member to use your credit card for you. That you should definitely buy a gun illegally so there's no paper trail, destroy the gun after you're using it, and then dump it in a lake or a river or something. And that you shouldn't use a car that has any distinguishing features. Maybe use a very popular model of a car, like a Ford F-150. In jail awaiting trial, Joanna also admitted she did it to other prisoners because she wanted to look tough. She admitted it to everybody, it seems, except the judicial system. Her trial began in 2011. During the trial, Stephen Strube Sr., ex-husband and grandfather, would testify that in 1991 Joanna once held a revolver to his head during some kind of argument, and he said she always carried a revolver. Now, the murder weapon has never been found, but it's believed it was a revolver. Daryl took the stand, witnessing her truck there that day. At the end of the trial, Joanna was found guilty of murder, and she was sentenced to life in prison plus 5.
Now, if they could have found the weapon, could they went for the death penalty? Is that like a thing where they couldn't find the murder weapon or something, so she just got life? Is that a thing?
Prosecution used your son's own words against you.
And now he's got to live with that. Because they dangled his son as a carrot in front of him. They told him repeatedly, call your mom, do this, and we will go help you get your son.
Are you good with Stephen, your son now?
Yes. Yes, I love him. Am I hurt by what he did? No, because if someone told me, place a phone call like this and I'll help you go get your kid.
It looks like you.
If I know I haven't done anything wrong, I know my mom hasn't done anything wrong, what's it gonna hurt if you're gonna go get my kid?
For him, for your son Stephen, to assist the police in that phone call. Have you forgiven him?
Yeah, with no physical evidence to put me at the scene, or no DNA to put in anything that I own. The fact that every eyewitness said no, I can't identify her sitting in a courtroom today, that it was a person who was 5'7" to 5'9". I'm 5'4", 140 to 190 pounds. I weigh 110 pounds. Never weighed any more in my life.
And there you have it, the case of an overbearing mother-in-law, case of the mother-in-law from hell. And how
I mean, she brought up good points though, right? They never found a murder weapon. A lot of people did say it was definitely her. I don't know what she's talking about there. But I mean, no one literally seen her take off the wig, take off the mustache, and actually get visual confirmation that it's her. And I'm not saying you can't tell who someone is whenever they're doing stuff like that, but it does get a little bit harder. And then you put in distance and shadows and shading and everything. So I'm not saying that she didn't do it, because more than likely she 100% fucking did. What I'm saying is, I don't think her case was handled correctly. Like she said, a lot of people are saying no, they couldn't. She's probably very right. A lot of people did probably say no, they can't actually identify her because, you know, the wig and the mustache and everything else and so on and so forth. But there's also no actual evidence, like a gun with fingerprints on it. There was a fiber of a blonde wig, one fiber of a blonde wig, which, I'm sorry, I've been in stores. I've worked in stores. Hell, I've had to clean stores. There's hairs everywhere, man. You can walk into a place and, okay, say someone's wearing a Halloween wig because, say you're at fucking Target or Walmart and they're doing like their Halloween thing where some of their employees dress up as Halloween characters and they do like the safety trick or treat for the kids and shit. So you walk in there, you shook one of their hands and said like, thank you. And then their wig hair got on you. And then you got into a car and that wig hair fell onto the floor. You know what I mean? I'm just saying it does seem like they was reaching quite a bit. No, Mike did not probably go over all the evidence and everything that was found. I mean, he only does have a certain amount of time to get everything in there. So okay, if any of you all out there have any extra information about this case, leave it in the comments section for me down there. I know some people don't like to be like, oh, well, I know something about this. Do it. Fucking do it. I like extra information. Nothing you say is going to be like, no, you're stupid. I don't give a fuck what you say. Get in there, tell me what. If you know anything about this particular story, get in there and tell me what you know about it, because I really don't know anything about it, and I don't do good at looking shit up like that. I get headaches. But is that why she didn't get like death penalty or something like that? She just got life is because, man, we know you fucking did it. A jury has proved without a shadow of a doubt that you're guilty, but we just don't feel completely comfortable giving you the death penalty because, you know, what if? And yeah, she's got a point. Like, I don't know how close that video was. I don't know if you could actually get a good facial features from her or not, but she is right. Like, that nose was completely different than her nose. Like, go back and look at it though. The nose is different. A few features are different. I don't know, man. I mean, I think she did it personally. I think she did do it. Like, I do personally. I just have this feeling in my skeleton bones that she did do it. But what if she is actually telling the truth and she did not do it? Like, what if it's someone who just knows her really, really well and is like, man, I can act like that bitch? What if it was Steven? He's like, I've known my mommy for years. I can act just like her. And I can get my kid back. Whoa. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. It's just a little weird to me, okay?
She took matters into her own hands in the worst possible way, putting on a disguise, a real shitty one, let's be honest, to do something pretty unthinkable, in cold blood. And after everything, she couldn't admit what she'd done. Still to this day, she is not. By the way, during the trial, Stephen, her son, he refused to testify. And in fact, he was now saying that the woman in the CCTV was not his mother. No way, Jose is that me mama. Nope. Nope.
Well, they also got him like right after his ex-wife was like brutally shot and his kid was like right there. You're not going to be fucking thinking straight. And I know you can't wait months for them to be able to think straight, Bill. I know. That's where a lot of shit gets fucked up. But I mean, later on, if you're sitting there like, that really don't look like my mom. Like, I know it did. I know I said it did, but I mean, now I'm actually sitting here looking at it and like I'm calmer and I can actually think and focus. I'm going to go ahead and say it. No, I don't think that's her. I don't see no harm in that shit. I'm 100% sure, like, sometimes mistakes happen when people are just really, really tore up, you know? And I imagine he was really, really tore up. I would imagine. I would be.
Unfortunately, he probably should have said that before he said it to the police, and they recorded it.
Yeah, because this is never going to help you.
Thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot to me, as always. So, next video will be up in a couple of days. You know yourself. And please check out the That Chapter podcast if you're looking for more stories. Whole, completely different stories we should tell there. Every new episode out every single Monday, so give it a go wherever you get your podcasts. But, yeah, alright. See you in a couple of days. So, look forward to that.
Alright, Mike. Oh, always a pleasure having you on the show, Mike. But seriously, tell me what you guys think. I mean, hey, I'm not saying it's not her by any means. I'm saying it probably 99.9% is her. Don't get me wrong. But what if, like that 0.1, you know? What if it wasn't? Like, didn't it? Can't people change their minds? And I'm just saying that because there could still be this lady's killer out there. All right. I really enjoyed this story. Damn, Mike. That was a good one, bud. All right. If y'all enjoyed today's story as much as I did, please go down there, leave a thumbs up. It really does help the channel grow. While you're down there, going over, slap the subscribe button, become part of the Bill for 1,000 Nation. We do some crazy shit here, bro. If you want to know when that crazy shit happens, ding that bell. It might work for you. It might not. But if it do, jump in on one of my premieres, go over in the live chat and be like, hey, Bill, you know what else I'm not too sure about? How I feel about that ding you just laid down on me. I got emotional. I got so emotional, Bill. You can't be doing that to me. I'll be like, oh, my bad. Leave a like and dip. That's all you gotta do. As always, be good to one another. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Damn, Mike, that was good. Oh, so cool.